Physical activity and nutrition contract, and we have Madeleine and Kirk presenting this. Madeleine manages the Under 5 Energize project at Sport Waikato. She has a background in primary teaching and early childhood education and has been managing the delivery of the Under 5 program since 1995. Mad, I'll hand it off to you. Over to you.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Madeleine Kirk toko ingoa, ko ata kai whakahaere mātua o te kapa Under 5 Energize in the Sport Waikato. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. It is my great pleasure to be sharing with you the Under 5 initiative. This is a health service that has been funded by the Ministry of Health through the Maternal and Child Nutrition and Physical Activity Program, along with 7 others nationally since July 2013. It is a targeted program. It sits outside of healthy families. As most of you know, we don't have that in the Waikato. And it has a focus on combating childhood obesity. The Under 5 Energize project works alongside early childhood centres to improve the nutrition and increase the quality and the quantity of physical activity for children attending centres in 4 targeted areas. Let's hope I get this right. That one. Okay, Kieran. These are the goals of Under 5 Energize. The mahi that we're doing contributes to achieving these 6 goals. And we adopted the successful Energize framework and adapted it to the Under 5 Energize in the early childhood settings. The methods used on this journey for every centre include an MOU being signed, a stocktake conducted, a needs analysis being done, and all that data put together so that each centre has an individual action plan. The action plan identifies what are the changes that that centre would like to make in their nutrition and physical activity environment over the next 6 months. They're unique documents, they're not interchangeable, and we do our best to address those needs in a priority order. Karen, this morning you mentioned about consistent messaging, and I can say that one of the beauties about being involved in the kaupapa for the maternal and child physical activity and nutrition projects is that we all nationwide meet very regularly and share information about what we're doing. So within those projects we are endeavouring to give very consistent messages. Who's involved? So this gives you an idea of the geographical clusters. We drew a circle on a map and we counted up how many centres were inside each of these circles. It wasn't quite as simple as that. We used data that gave us information around what was inside that centre, and we were looking at higher depth areas. We wanted rural and urban. We wanted a high number of ethnicities and a range of early education centres. Currently we are working with kohanga reo, puna reo, play centres, childcare centres and kindergartens, and in the South Waikato with Pacific Language Nests. So there's a wide range of different types of centres that we work with. And we work alongside a Māori health provider and a Pacific provider as well. One Under 5 Energizer, probably identifiable by these cardies today, works in each of these clusters, and they have a huge task because each one of them works with between 28 and 34 early childhood centres. So what are we actually doing and who are we getting to? In this ever-changing environment of early childhood, because they're coming in and going, as you know, when you turn 5 in New Zealand, you usually take off to school and that frees a place up for someone else to come in. So it's a very, very fluid environment that we're working in. So these numbers were accurate as at the end of December last year. So 121 centres that we're working with, and these are the numbers inside those centres and outside in the whānau that we are able to get messages to. We had a larger than expected uptake because we approached centres, and we got 93% said yes please, where do we sign? We'd kind of hoped for 75% uptake and thought that would be really good, so we ended up with a few more that we have to manage, which is actually fantastic, but it creates some logistical nightmares for the team with their travelling. So we provide education support and assistance, and we work with the centres on their identified needs using a range of methods, including workshops, including interactive displays, including modelling. And we have developed resources, adapted some of the resources that Energize had already developed, and we utilise those in the early childhood setting. One of the things that we learned early on, and I think one of the reasons why we have been reasonably successful, is that we work at the pace that the centre dictates. If they're not quite ready, if they've had a change of staff, if they've had a change of ownership, if there's been something else going on, we can put things on hold for a little while and we'll come back at their pace and work at their pace. Frustrating at times for us because we'd like to move things along a bit quicker, but it actually has worked because it's called developing trust and building a strong relationship. And I believe, and the team believes, that the relationship building was the absolute key to us being able to have the door opened and that we could actually start to talk about the messages that we wanted to talk about. The messages are filtered through the families and through the centres and into the families, and it was the educators that we needed to get on board because they are the people that are with those children for up to 6 hours a day, and if we could create a change in the environment within the early childhood centre, then that's 6 hours of healthier food perhaps, and more activity and more quality activity. But the messages also filter through to the hires. This morning, Jo Collin referred to a project that she had seen running, which is Toi Tangata Hepi Kārere program, which we thank you very much for allowing us to be involved in delivery of that program in the Waikato with our kohanga reo. So for the 20 kohanga that we work with, also receive Hepi Kārere. It is an initiative that is delivered in a kaupapa Māori physical activity approach to nurture and develop the whole being of a tainiti in kaupapa Māori early learning environments. And we've had a really positive response to the mahi that's been done in the kohanga reo. I guess it's okay to say we go out and we do these workshops, but do we actually make a difference, and how do we know we're making a difference? After every workshop that we do, we collect some information from the people that have come. We ask them several questions, and this is just an example of some of the responses. So we're asking, are you going to make a change? Is there something that we've said today or you've seen today? It might be a new game, it might be a new activity, it might be something that we've said around sugary drinks. Is there something that you think you're going to make a change in? And if you are, well, that's fantastic. So as you can see, there have been lots and lots of changes that have been identified. And that's how we know that on the day people say they're going to make a change, but then we also want to know, is that sustainable? Have you actually made a change? So 6 to 8 weeks later, we send them an online survey, and have you made a change since the workshop? What have you implemented? What are you doing differently? And it sort of speaks for itself. So improved nutrition and increased physical activity certainly scored way more highly than no comment. And just a really good example of a South Waikato centre that one of our Energizers is working with. This particular kohanga used to, out of the goodness of their heart, on a very hot day, provide sugary ice blocks bought down at the shop, and on cold days they would often have something that's hot, which sort of came and looks like chips from the local takeaway. After a lunchbox workshop, the next time the Under 5 Energizer visited, they were very proud and they said, come and have a look at our fridge. And that was what was in the fridge. What they also shared was that on a Monday, they cooked some meat, they shredded up, and that's what they used for the sandwiches. So it took one workshop for them. Obviously the timing was right, but the support that was given in the right way at the right time, and we thought that was an absolutely fantastic change. to communicate the changes that are made and also to get some messages out. We don't have a Facebook page because we've never actually felt we've had the time to devote to it. So I'm feeling quite good about that after hearing today that if we haven't got the time, we shouldn't be going there. But we have implemented in the last little while a newsletter to share some of the successes that are happening with the other centres that are involved. Something nice and bright and breezy. We have had challenges. Engaging with the educators is just not walk in and we'll go. Engaging with families is challenging, it's difficult. We've heard today that people don't want to be told what to do, and so we have taken a different approach to that. But all the same, sometimes there are barriers there, and it takes time to build the trust, it takes time to build the relationship, and we just can't emphasise enough that just can't be rushed. It needs to be done over time. So we had one success that I want to share with you, and we probably trialled it in a couple of our different target areas, and that was providing, how do we engage with the parents? We managed to increase over a 6-month period the engagement with parents 243%. So what we did was we had at drop-off time, when you're dropping your children off, and when you're coming to pick them up, interactive displays, so they're not just set up, the educator's there to answer questions about anything that somebody might say about the sugary drinks or what they want to know a little bit more about the lunch boxes. The increase in people engaging was phenomenal. Very pleased to say that the ministry, this was a 2-year project, we're just coming up to the end of year 3 and the ministry have just extended it for another 2 years. So we're absolutely delighted that we've got another 2 years to prove that we're making a little bit of a difference. We'd love to have the funding to have some additional centres involved. We get questions all the time, where do I sign, how do I join? Along our journey, we're continually developing new resources, we're listening to what the centres are saying, how can we better meet their needs, what don't we have, what do we need to do, changing and adapting all the time. One thing we're thinking of doing is an Under 5 Energize Award. And we're definitely, Martin, looking forward to the development of the physical activity guidelines for under 5s. Really pleased that finally there's going to be something in that space which is relevant and now and here. So keen to see what happens. So the mahi that we're doing in Under 5 Energize will continue. We really want some of those behavioural changes to be embedded in the centres and in the whānau that attend those centres. And we always keep in mind that our focus is eating healthy, being active and having fun.